Hey, how you all doing? This is Steve, and I'm doing a little Drupal tutorial here. It's actually how to install Drupal onto your web server. Drupal's a really powerful content management system. It's a lot better than putting just like a static HTML site onto your web, server, and having that. It's got a lot of functionality with it. You can add modules. You can have things like blogs and newsletter, forum, contact pages, all this different type of stuff, and you can actually log in and change that on your web browser. So it's something I think everybody should get to know and keep an option open for their web, their website, basically, is using Drupal. And to get started, we're going to actually go to the Drupal.org site where I am now, Drupal.org. And on the front page, they actually have the 6.17 release here. And you just go down here and you download it. They actually have this download thing as well. Download link, and that you can browse on over to the Drupal core file page where they got Drupal 7 next release coming out. And basically, you can just scroll down, and they have the latest stable release here, which is 6.17, and then you can just go ahead and download that, which I have already done. So here are the files right here. Basically, this is all you need right here. It's got the include, MISC, modules, profiles, scripts, sites, and themes, and all the stuff you need to get going with Drupal on your website. And you basically just upload these to your root file, your root folder, or a subfolder on your web server. One of the things with Drupal is you have to have database access for your website. So if you're just having like a free account, usually they don't do that type of thing. So you got to make sure you're going to have a MySQL, which is right here, database for your web browser, or I mean your web server. Wherever you're buying it from. I happen to have mine at GoDaddy right now, so just make sure you have that. What you're going to do is you're going to create a database. And I'm not going to go through how to create a database and that type of thing. It's basically a really easy process now on most web hosting services. You just go in there, you go to MySQL, you create a username, a password, and then basically what you do is you take your username, password, where it's being hosted, like the server name, which you might have to look around on some of these different web hosting services, and then the database name. You need those four elements for Drupal to work basically on your web server. So I'm going to show you a little bit about that and then the file which you have to look at when you're actually installing Drupal. So we're going to look at that now. Alright, so here is the files again. And basically, before you upload it, you're going to have to create that database on your web server. And then you're going to go over here to what is called sites. Okay, let me move that around there and do that. Okay. I'm actually going to do this. And what's going to be in this? It's going to be in the default folder. So on the main Drupal installation folder, it's going to be in sites. And then it's going to be in default. So here's the default settings right here. So I'm going to open that up, and it's actually going to bring up my Dreamweaver here. I currently have CS3. So this is how you're going to edit that. So here's the file, actually the file line that you need to edit. So we're going to scroll down here. And this is how Drupal is going to connect to your database on your web server. So what you're going to need from your database that you just created, you're going to write all that information down, is your username. You're going to put that right here. Just basically you can copy and paste as well. Then your password. Then your host name. This is where the database is actually hosted. Sometimes it's different from where you actually have your server, so you're going to have to find that. Might take some digging. And then your database name. So that's basically what you gave it to. So you're going to copy all this down and you're going to paste it right into here as such. Okay. Then you basically save that. And you're basically going to save that as settings.php. So just when you're going to save as from here settings and not default settings, which is what it is, because it's going to look for that settings.php file and not the default settings.php. Oh, and one more thing to note, you might want to make sure you have MySQL 5 basically for your web server. Most of the web servers in PHP are updated, so you basically don't have to worry about it, but make sure you have those updated to MySQL 5. Alright, now that we got our settings file saved in there with all of our database stuff, we can actually get rid of this guy right here, the default settings, and I'm going to go, yep, get rid of that guy, and now we should be set to upload it to our web server here. I'm going to adjust this right there. So these are all the files that we need now, and we've got everything ready to go, barring any, things we have to adjust. So basically what I'm going to do is go over to here to my FTP client, and I've already got it set up to where I've got the files here that I need to upload, which is all of these files, onto my web server into a subfolder on my website called tutorial. So basically I'm going to take all of these and I'm going to Control-A to basically select them all, and then I'm going to just upload them to that folder right there. And as you can see, they're going to go lickety split up in there, and I'll just wait until they're all done. Alright, now we got all those files uploaded to our web server, and we can check that, and yeah, it looks like everything's there. Look in the modules here. Yep, looks like everything is okay to go. So basically what we got to do now is we got to go into our web browser. So I'm going to actually go over to where it's located on my web server, and then what I'm going to do is just put install here. So basically that's all you have to type. I'm going to hit enter there in my web browser. Let's see what happens here. Okay, and you should get this screen if everything's right, if your database settings were all right and you've, got all the passwords and things, good to go. So what I'm going to do here is go to install Drupal in English, because that's what I speak. Alright, we're going to let that load up for a second. Okay, and you should get this screen right here. It says initializing. And that'll be the setting up all the tables on your database type of thing. Logging module, whatever it's doing, it'll show you. Okay, so we've got everything good to go here. Now we just have to configure our site, so I'm going to move down here a little bit and show you. Name of the site, basically what I'm going to name it here is tutorial. And then the address, which will be me. So you could put your address there. Okay, and then you're going to name the administrator account. So what I'm going to do is just put admin here. And then create myself a little password. I'm not going to tell you what it is, so you can't get into my little account there. And then the default time zone, which looks like it's alright. Let's see about that. Yep, that looks good. And clean URLs. This is if your server is it'll actually test your server to make sure that you're able to have clean URLs, which I'll talk about later, maybe in a later video. But I'm going to keep that enabled because it's better for search engine stuff and it makes your site look a lot better. And then I'm going to keep this update notifications, checks for updates automatically enabled. And that should be it. And we're just going to hit save and continue. Okay, now looks like everything went perfectly fine, and Drupal has been installed on my web server. And you'll get this if you've done everything right. If not, you can look around. There's lots of resources on the Drupal site itself, so just do a Google search of what you're looking for, what the error code might be, and there's a lot of people that have probably gone through what you've gone through before. But usually if you've done everything right, you've done the database passwords, everything right, then it should get something like this. And that's all for installing Drupal. Basically, I just wanted to give you a kind of a, a look into how it is actually uploaded onto your site and installed, which is a fairly easy process. Thanks for watching my tutorial. Basically, on the next video, I'm going to show you how to basically set up everything on your site. And what I like to do is